All right, thank you for staying with us. You're watching Daybreak on Trust TV. Now, Muslims the world over today are celebrating the Arafat Day. It is a holiday for all Muslims that is observed on day 9 of the last month in the Islamic calendar of Zul-Hijjah. Now, the day of Arafat is significant for its emphasis on forgiveness, mercy, repentance, spiritual cleansing, unity, and the culmination of the Hajj pilgrimage. It is a day of immense importance and a time for Muslims to seek closeness to Allah, seek forgiveness, and reflect on their faith and actions. It is believed that on the day of Arafat, Allah forgives the sins of those who sincerely repent and seek forgiveness. Hence, Muslims around the world strive to maximize their supplications and seek mercy on this day. We're talking about this, and we have in the studio the National Chief Imam Al-Habibiyah Islamic Society in Abuja. He is Imam Fuad Adeyemi. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
You're welcome to the program. Good morning. All right, and in the course of our discussion, we'll be joined by our correspondents who are also in the Holy Land in Saudi Arabia to give us a situation report on Nigerians over there. Well, for now, let's begin by talking about the significance of this day. Imam, if you may, take us through how significant is this day for Muslims around the world?
Well, Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. Today is the 9th of the Hijjah, which is the 9th day of the 12th month of the Islamic calendar. And that day is very significant because it is the day of Arafat. Arafat is the culmination of everything that is being done in Hajj. And for you to get to this day, those who are in Mecca, they will have been in a place called Mina from yesterday. And from Mina, they will leave early this morning to Arafat. And from the name itself, Arafat means recognition. And that recognition could actually mean so many things. If you look at the historical evolution of how Arafat started itself, when Sayyidina Adam wasalam, and his wife left the paradise, they were thrown out on earth and they were wandering for long, and the spot where they met is where it is referred to as Arafat now. And that is the I've known you, you have known me. And also, it is a day of Arafat in Hajj because the Prophet ﷺ said Al-Hajj Al-Arafah, that the main cross of Hajj is Arafat. If you are in Hajj, you perform Hajj, you say you go to Mecca, let me put that way, and you did not go to Arafat, you have not done anything. If it is only Arafat you are able to perform, when you perform Hajj, your Hajj stands. If you don't do that, you do not have Hajj. So, and as I'm talking to you now, there'll be some people that they will carry them from the hospital and straight to Arafat, and from Arafat they go back to hospital, they still have their Hajj, those who are very sick. Arafat is a time in which the main work of Hajj is there, but it will surprise you that it is the easiest part of Hajj. It is the easiest, the one that does not have any pain at all, because when you leave Muna in the morning, you get to Arafat, and you will not do, there is no nafila in Arafat. You don't just say you are performing 2 rakah prayer. No. There is no that. And if you are performing Arafat, you cannot fast. You must even eat when you are in Arafat. Then, what you now do, you also combine these 2 prayers, the Zuhr and Asr prayer, which is the prayer of around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and the prayer of around 4. You also combine them. Instead of 4 rakah, you have 2 rakah. The question now is, what do we do in Arafat? From the world, what Almighty Allah wanted from us mainly as human beings is reflection, because they put it as Ayam Tarwiyah, the day of reflection. And that is when you leave Muna, you are in Mecca, you are in Arafat, you are in Muzdalifah, back to Jamra, back to your room in Muna. All these things they refer to as Ayam Tarwiyah, which means the day of reflection. What Almighty Allah wants from us in that is that, are we going to reflect on our coming? Are we going to reflect on where we are going? Are we going to reflect on where we are? Are we going to take account to see that what have we been doing as human beings? What are we supposed to be doing as the worshipper of Allah? And all these things take us to where we are coming from and to where we are going. When you see thousands, not even thousands, millions of people in white, everybody, that one assure you that there is a day that will all gather like this before Almighty Allah. So it allows you to know there is a day of reckoning, there is a day of questioning, there is a day of answering, there is a day in which Allah describes Yawmut Tagabun, the day in which people will wail. So when you now look at it, naturally your brain must calm down. You must reflect that, what are we doing? Who is my God? What is my relationship with my God? And that is the essence of that for those who are there. The Prophet ﷺ also tells us that those who did not perform Umrah, or those who did not perform Hajj, and they're at home, they fast on the day of Arafah, and you are able to ask for Allah's forgiveness, that if you meet Allah's mercy, you will be forgiven of 2 years' sin. The last year's sin and this year's sin. So 2 consecutive years. An average Muslim will not miss today in fasting and do good thing for you to do. It is also a day of unity. I always refer to it as the only and the true united nation of the world. The next person to you can be from China. The one by your side can be from India. The other one can be from America. At the end of the day, everybody is together. No discrimination, no tribe, no country, no everything. If you look at the work of Hajj, is trying to melt the what do you call it, the differences we put between ourselves. Each time the work of Hajj is getting serious, each time the differences between us as human beings is being melted. If you are Muna, when you are Muna, you can say, okay, these are Nigerians that are staying here. These are people that are staying there. By the time you move to Arafah, that Nigerianness is most of the time is melted. You can have Nigeria here, you have Ghana there, you have Cameroon there, you have America there, you have Italy there. By the time you even leave Arafah, you now go to Muzdalifah. That's why it's complete melt. Complete melt. In fact, you might not even see the person you are holding your hand when you get to Muzdalifah, that the next person that will be there will be a Saudi man. The next person that you'll be praying Maghrib together will be somebody. And that one, it also brings you down. Nobody, when I say bring down, it melts the social strata which you put. No matter whom you are, when you are in Arafah, everybody will be looking for the same thing. Everybody will be doing the same thing. Everybody will be thinking of the same thing. You will be wearing, no matter how rich you are, the clothes you're wearing, all of you are wearing almost the same thing. Almost the same price, no matter what. So at the end of the day, you are able to realize the nothingness and beingness of what you think you are. So it allows us to actually work together as an ummah. I want to take, there is something that our leaders used to do in this Umrah, in this Arafah. This is by His Eminence the Sultan. Sultan introduced something about 8 years ago, which is one thing that is actually helping us as a nation. In Arafah, Sultan will bring all the tribes, all the blocks. Everybody will sit together and will pray for the nation. You will see an imam from Enugu, you will see an imam from Zamfara, you will see an imam from Lagos, you will see a leader from Anambra. Everybody will be together and he will insist everybody must pray. So at the end of the day, even those, you see the Izala, you see the Torika, those who don't sit together, those who don't see eye to eye, when they see that and people watch, they say, this is our leader that are working together. Why are we quarreling?
Imam,
why are we fighting?
Imam, so what you have talked about, I hear a melting of people from all sects and all of that. So this kind of gathering, how does it help to foster unity among all the sects in Islam?
That's exactly what you are saying. When you look at people and the kind of clothes which you wear, I remember I did a sermon some years back and I put it, why are we here? And that was the question. If you see the kind of one cloth everybody will be holding. And to men, there's no single underwear for what they wear. And do you know the only time you can wear such a dress? That is when you are in the innermost part of your room. That is the only time you can dress like that. And who is the next person that can see you dressing like that? It means the person that is closest to you is the one that can see you dressing like that. And what does that supposed to mean now mean Arafat? It means the entire world, they are the next to you. They are the closest to you. The way you think your wife or your husband is to you is the way these people are to you. You should treat them the way you will have treated yourself, because they have access to the most private part of your body. So it means these people who are around you, you should see them as one too. And because when we all stand before, especially when we listen to the khutbah in Arafat, it means you look at ourselves as one and equal one. One is not above the other. You'll be able to work together. You'll be able to think together. You'll be able to reason together. You'll be able to do things together. At the end of the day, we are supposed to even come out. That is even, I'm even surprised that the entire world today, especially the Muslim world, we've not been able to harness that opportunity that God has given to us. In the world, there is no other gathering that has such a melting opportunity. There is no other gathering in the world that is as large as that, and that could also bring people together. Do you know the number that travel from Nigeria alone? 95,000. So you can imagine, and we're about number 6 or number 7 in the number of people who are performing Hajj. The closest to that in the world, I think, is either Olympics or the World Cup. The maximum number of people that will leave Nigeria to go and watch Olympics is not more than 3,000. That is the maximum number, and we're about the largest contingent even in the world. So you can see that Almighty Allah has given us the opportunity of doing things together, of working together. If you look at the history of Islam, it has actually been Hajj that has brought everybody together. It allows us to work together. It allows us to talk together. I'll be able to come and see the challenges the entire world is facing. We'll be able to solve it from Arafat.
Okay. All right. Well, we would come back to you, Imam. We want to join our correspondent who is currently in Saudi as well, in Mina, I believe, about to also undertake this exercise. Lami Sadiq, who is joining us virtually, by the way. Lami, are you there? Good morning. I don't know what time it is over there, anyways.
Now in Saudi, it's 11:29.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I'm with you, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Hello? Okay, well, we'll try to reconnect back to Lami. Hopefully we get that sorted in a short while. Well, can you talk to us about the symbolism of the Arafat itself, the location where this exercise is taking place?
Probably we want to look at it geographically. It's at the northern part of Makkah. It's a playground where there is a mosque there, where the Imam will address the pilgrims. There are some mountains around which many people used to think that they have to climb. You don't need to climb the mountain. You don't need to do anything on that. The only thing you need to do, because around this time now, many of them have not settled in Arafat because of the logistics of coming from Mina to Arafat now. Many people will just be coming, and when you come, the first thing you do is you eat. Like, can you even see? That is the first thing you do. As you are getting down, you just look for something you eat, and if you are tired, you lie down and sleep small. Then you wait until you can now pray Zuhr and Asr together. So where it is a plain of Makkah, and where everybody that perform Hajj must be there.
Yeah, but the Islamic symbolism of that location, why in that
That's what I've explained it to you historically before. When Sayyidina Adam, Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and his wife were sent out of paradise, I told you they were wandering around the earth. Almighty Allah commanded them, go down to Misra. That time the word Misra means the entire world from the glorious Quran. It means the entire world. And Misra most of the time now is now referred to as Egypt. So but Allah said, go down. They were wandering different parts of the world. Some scholars said that one was around China, the other one was around Arab, so around India. So they said they were wandering until when they get to that spot where the mosque is, and that is where they see themselves as if you seen the man was seeing a figure in front. It's a plain ground. You notice there is no grass, there is nothing, no any tree, nothing. It's just a plain ground. So now somebody that is looking, it is at that time, around this equivalent of this time, now saw that this is my wife, this is my husband. So I'm able to recognize you. Now say, you are able to recognize me. And I say, oh, this is Arafat, that Arifuni, that I'm able to I know that this is my wife. I know that this is my husband. So that is where the word Arafat come. And when Almighty Allah institutes Hajj as an institution for us in Islam, it now became part of everything which you do. If you look at every work we do in Hajj, it is a replica of what some of the old prophets, which they have done to in fact, to even tell us know that the message is from one single creator who sent them all. That is all the prophets of Allah. They all came together with the same message. What we do in Mecca or in Hajj, it is the work that other prophets have done. For example, the Safa and Marwa was done by Ajara, the wife of Sayyidina Ibrahim, and the slaughtering of ram was actually done by Ibrahim himself, and the what do we call it? The Arafat by Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and they call to prayer by Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. All these things are conglomeration of the activities and the messages that are sent to this prophet. Almighty Allah fuses it together for us to have Hajj.
All right.
And that is why what we now see that no matter whom you are, by the time you perform Hajj, you still want to go back.
All right, Imam, when you were talking, you talked about the fact that when you are there and you pray, you get forgiveness of sins. So it appears, what I get out of that is that it's like a rebirth.
Yes.
You become a new person. Now, after the exercise, how do you hold on to that spirituality that you have attained on this day?
Thank you so much. I think this is actually the key, the most important aspect of Hajj, of that Arafat.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to interject, Imam. We understand our correspondent is standing by right there. So because of exigencies, let's go to her. Okay. Lami, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Good morning, I can hear you.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Very well. Thank you so much for joining. Well, congratulations, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so go ahead, give us an idea of what exactly is going on. Let's have a feel of what's happening right now in Mina.
Arafat.
Arafat, I believe.
Yes, we are in Arafat. We came to Arafat sometime around 3 a.m. and most of the pilgrims rested in anticipation of the supplication. So now a lot of pilgrims are getting ready for the Zuhur prayer. The Zuhur prayer, as the Imam said, is going to be combined with the Asr prayer. And after that, a lot of the pilgrims will be standing, a lot of people will stand by Mount Arafat for supplication. So a lot of the pilgrims have rested, and we are anticipating there's going to be a lot of supplication. There's going to be a lot of prayers because people are hoping that their sins will be forgiven and their prayers will be answered.
I can imagine this a gathering of over 3 million people, 3.5 from what we've gathered. And for Nigerians who are there, we are seeing a story here talking about, tent shortage and poor feeding. It's part of the reports that we are getting here. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, apparently the Nigerian contingent is supposed to be about 95,000 pilgrims who are participating in this year's Hajj. And this is apparently the largest Hajj exercise since the COVID-19 restrictions. So from what we're gathering, it seems the Saudi government gave the same slot it gave Nigerian government last year, which was about 45,000 slots. And with that, we found a lot of the pilgrims camping under the bridge, a lot of them camping on streets. But from what we're getting from NACOM as of this morning, over 10,000 of these pilgrims have been in new accommodation. And there has been an apology by government and also NACOM to these pilgrims. They have now been given accommodation. Basically, I think it's because I'm not so sure whether the Saudi government made a mistake or whether they did not anticipate this. From what we got was that they gave Nigeria 95,000 slots, and instead of for the pilgrims, and then gave 45,000 slots for the tent. So that, of course, there was a shortage of over 50,000 pilgrim tents or spaces for the pilgrim. So that led to about that number, that huge number, sleeping under the bridge, sleeping on streets. But for us who came with the Kaduna State contingent, I can say that a lot of us got this tent because we arrived early.
All right, Lami, I mean, our officials knew that we had 95,000 pilgrims going there, right? So if they were giving tents for 45,000, why didn't they identify that problem before yesterday? That's one. Secondly, according to the story, we heard that some fake pilgrims were able to get in and take some of the tents that were supposed to be for Nigerian pilgrims. How did this come about?
You see, this issue of fake pilgrims or illegal immigrants that live in Saudi Arabia participating in Hajj has been something that has been ongoing for years. And I think they arrived earlier than most pilgrims for this tent. And you find that they are dressed like Nigerians. They have wristbands like Nigerians. So it makes it easier for them to infiltrate and move into this camp. So what I noticed in the early hours of this morning is that most states are taking extra effort in screening their pilgrims to ensure that the authentic pilgrims make it into the bus. That's from Muna to make it to Arafat. So that was what we noticed earlier this morning. Most states were taking extra effort to check pilgrims' ID cards, to screen pilgrims so that you don't find these people infiltrate. But this is something that has been ongoing for years. You find a lot of them who are Nigerians who live here in Saudi Arabia, trying to cut corners in order to participate in the Hajj ritual.
Okay. Well, Lami, we also got reports from yesterday saying that about 6 people have died this year in the Hajj of heart attack, is it cardiac arrest, something like that, and then about 15,000 receiving treatment of for different ailments and the rest of them. In terms of medical and health attention, for the pilgrims, what's the situation?
The truth is that I think for this year, I don't know if this is so that there's a number of the age, a huge number of the age category who are participating in this year's Hajj. And we had a discussion with the Executive Secretary for Kaduna State Pilgrims Agency last night, and one of the things he said was that a major recommendation will be for next year to ensure that the age category are accompanied by someone who will help, either a relative or a caregiver. You find that there are a lot of them who need assistance. And Hajj is an exercise whereby everyone, it's a stressful exercise, and everyone is for himself. Yeah. So these people need assistance. And even the NACOM medical team lead for the NACOM medical team said it, that one of the things they have noticed is that there are a lot of the age category, and it's something they'll have to look into next year to ensure that these people are properly screened, especially those who have any underlying illness and those who are perhaps in their 60s and 70s trying to make it for Hajj. They need assistance, but you find that most of them came on their own. We have cases whereby you find pilgrims on wheelchairs, they cannot move. They cannot even make it to the toilet on their own without assistance. These people were able to make it for this year's Hajj. So that is what we are having. And you can see that even though the medical team, we have over 500 members in the medical team, you can see that they're doing all they can. But then And then there's also the issue of change of environment. A lot of people came here, you know, they're used to the weather in Nigeria. And at the moment, I can tell you that it's 44 degrees here in Mecca. So there's also that stress. There's a stress of walking the distance, because from the accommodation to the Grand Mosque is about 2-kilometer walk. There's the stress of walking the distance. There's the stress of the weather change. Even the stress of this cultural change. So that is why I think they also mentioned the case of some psychiatric breakdowns. So there's all these factors coming together to affect the pilgrims' physique. And before you know it, you're having a lot of people rushing to clinics, and the doctors are those who they can attend to, they attend to. Those who they cannot, they move them to Saudi hospitals. So there's also
in your view, the lack of tents, because the videos that I saw, I mean, the sun in Saudi at the moment, the weather there is very hot at the moment. And I saw people on the street, I saw people under the bridge. Do you think it's going to impact their performance today at the Arafat? What is the mood generally?
I don't think it's going to impact the performance. You see, moment now, because of the heat, there are a lot of Saudi government has these tanks that spray water on pilgrims, and then you find a lot of people with umbrellas. Yes, we already anticipated that the weather here is going to be extreme, and a lot of people came prepared. And those who, you know, even we arrive Muna sometimes in the early hours, and you can find that a lot of people were looking for shade to lie down. Know that it's going to be very hot, so they could get ready for Arafat. Yes, at Arafat, those who will move outside, who will go to the mountain, have a lot of umbrellas. But then there are a lot of women who are going to witness Arafat in their tents, because there are tents here. Because I think the NACOM team lead for the medical team just came, and some of the religious leaders just came to advise a lot of people that you can stay within this tent and witness Arafat. You can stay within this tent and say your prayers and say your supplication. But of course, some people will want to move to the mountain area. But then there are a lot of water sprays around to ensure that people get this cooling effect. And you find that a lot of people who want to move to the mountain have umbrellas. So it's something that we witness year on. But I can tell you that there are a lot of ambulances also on standby, because the medical team, there are a lot of doctors, nurses on emergency response at the moment. There are a lot of ambulances on the road, just in case some people fall as a result of heat stroke or whatever. But at the moment, you find a lot of people with umbrellas. There are a lot of water sprays around, so that to cool the pilgrims as they move from their tents to the mountain. That's for those who insist on going to the Mount Arafat. Some can stay in their tents at the moment and still witness Arafat.
Okay. Well, quite a lot you said, Lami. There seemed to be a pattern in the terms of the deaths that we've seen over the years. Virtually every year we record number of deaths, and I believe that's not peculiar to Nigeria, you know, and all that. Shouldn't we have learned lessons over the years from these instances? I mean, over almost every year we have these experiences. So these factors, are they also to be said to be responsible for these deaths?
Sorry, I didn't really get that question.
Some of the factors you mentioned, the rigors of the exercise, is that what accounts for the deaths that we record almost every year?
Like I told you, some have underlying illnesses. People find, you know, when it comes to Hajj, you just heard that there were some who were pregnant, and these are people who were supposed to have gone to medical screening. These are people who were supposed to have been supposed to have had pregnancy tests, because you are not advised to come on Hajj when you're pregnant. Yet some people find a way of beating these measures to get here. So even for the aged, there was a time that the Saudi government gave a restricted age category. But now you find that there are people in their 80s coming for Hajj. There are people in their 70s coming for Hajj. There are people who have diabetes, who are diabetic, who have hypertension. who are insisting on coming for Hajj. And so when these people come for Hajj, they have underlying illnesses. And then there's also the factor of the stress. There's also the factor of the heat. There's also the factor of most of these people leaving their drugs behind in Nigeria, coming for Hajj without their drugs. Because I think that one of the things that overwhelmed the medical team here is the fact that most of them did not come with their drugs. We also had an incident in the flight I took because one of the pilgrims said it became dizzy and we had to help her. We found that she was hypertensive, but she did not also come with her drug. So there are a lot of these factors that I think in subsequent days we need to take into account to ensure that pilgrims who have underlying illnesses come and get a prescription and they come for Hajj with their drugs. And they should know that the heat here is actually overwhelming. Even though most people know that, I think there's this shock when you come face to face with it. When you face it, there's this shock. And then there are some who have not even traveled from their community before to another community. So these people come to Saudi Arabia and there's this cultural shock for the first time. And that is why, from my discussion with some medical doctors, that is why we're having a lot of psychological breakdowns. Because some people have lived in a village for all their lives, and then here they are taking a flight first time, and then here they are landing in Saudi Arabia, seeing people of different categories, different races, and then seeing these story buildings for the first time. So you're having all these factors together that make up some of these challenges that we are facing. While some of these challenges can be tackled, some will kind of be difficult, but because for someone who has lived in a secluded environment for a long time, traveling for Hajj, I'm not sure there's much you can do about that. But in terms of the screening, I think even the medical team has said that this is something they have to take seriously next year. They have to ensure that people are properly screened before they come for Hajj.
All right, thank you so much, Lami. Thank you for joining and giving us this situation report. Thank you indeed. Stay safe.
I would have loved to.
Yes, you have the opportunity to do that.
Well,
and particularly while you respond, I would like for you to talk about the spiritual angle.
Yes, no, as much as spiritual angle is important, what she said actually very germane. It is extremely important. Incidentally, I was a member of the Hajj Commission. I was a board member for 6 years. So some of the things that she's saying, I could actually tell you why those challenges were there this year. One, there's what the group they call Muassasa. They are the one in charge of providing services for the pilgrims state by state. I think there is a challenge by the management this year for them not to know that this is the number that they are coming. For us to say 45 is not possible.
Tents.
It's not correct because it's not free. In fact, it is one of the most expensive room you could ever have in your life in any hotel. So for every bed space, they pay for it. So if they have paid for 45,000, they know 95,000 are coming. And how many bed space do they pay for them to have gotten 45? I think government should investigate. This cannot happen. Okay. I'm sorry. Then one. Then two, the issue of the death that are coming, it does not have anything. Some people even go to Mecca because they want to die there. So there's nothing you do that could stop that. Then because there is nothing, cannot stop the work of Hajj, especially in Arafat. Like I mentioned to you, is the easiest, is the cheapest, is the most effective thing during Hajj. Okay. All what you need is to sit down and you pray, and that's all.
Okay, quickly, 1 minute. There are people who, like she said, smuggle themselves to the place in the sense that they are not recognized, and they are creating a lot of problems for people.
Yes.
What's
the issue here is that yes, those ones are there, they're a perpetual problem. But the issue of Hajj now is not a seasonal program now. The Hajj, the moment you come back from this one, you should plan for the next one. There should be proper planning. If there is proper planning, first and foremost, how do they enter the bus from their houses, from Mecca to Mina? That is why it's starting. Then secondly, there used to be, there is one private tour operator in this country. They call him, I'm sorry I have to mention the name, Comrade Travels. They have the best when it's come to Mina and Arafat. No human being will be allowed to enter. If one individual can do something rightly, why can't also do something rightly?
Looking at this as a spiritual exercise, does it have any implication on one, trying to go through the back door?
No, naturally, anybody who is not being obedient, because that's one of the lessons of this Hajj, of the Arafah, is for you to be obedient. God says this, you follow it. The leader says this, you follow it. If you don't follow it, you know that you're only wasting your time. The spiritual thing, you will not. Because government say, if you are not registered, you must not come. And you are now smuggling yourself in. On average Nigerians, because what we are used to, some of us lawless, just want to cut corners and want to do this thing. All these kind of things are things that could be actually be curtailed if the management are able to start this thing on time.
Okay.
So I think all these things.
All right, thank you so much, Imam. Because of time, we cannot proceed. We appreciate you for joining us on Daybreak this morning.
Thank you so much.
Chief Imam, he is the National Chief Imam of the Al-Habibiyya Islamic Society. That's Imam Fuad Adeyemi, and also our correspondent who joined us from Arafat, talking about Lami Sadiq. That's our show for today. In case you've missed, you can always catch up across all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for welcoming us into your homes this morning. Join us same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Stella Iyaji, and do have a very pleasant day.